Welcome to Area DMG.
And welcome back to Radio DMG. I'm your host, Will Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, and I'm here at Colorado Anime Fest 2019 with...
Hi, what's up? This is Jad Saxton.
So, Jade, just in case our listeners aren't familiar with who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
I am a voice actor and ADR director for Funimation Entertainment. I voice act in anime and video games. Some of my more well-known roles are Carla in Fairy Tail, Akatsuki Log Horizon, Senna, and Haganai, and several others.
Several others. So,
Yeah.
Anime, video games, things like that?
Yeah. A lot. I've done over 250 anime at this point. And then I have a couple video games under my belt as well. Yeah.
So, which do you prefer to work with, on anime or video games?
I just like work. I like doing the work that I do. I love acting. I love directing. So I don't have a preference. They're both really, really fun, and they're both exactly what I want to be doing with my life. So no complaints here.
No. So, you said that they are what you'd like to be doing with your life, essentially.
Yeah.
Is there, what would you say are the basic skill sets between, say, ADR or working on voice acting?
Well, voice acting, I would say the most basic skill set is to be an actor and to kind of have some acting experience under your belt. ADR directing is a bit more specific, and having all the acting experience and specific to anime and ADR acting experience that I had made me I feel like this is a job interview, a highly capable candidate for the job of becoming an ADR director, because I spent so many hours in the booth watching other directors and seeing that side of it as well. And so then I just pulled from other skills that I had, having been in theater and having directed theater, having directed radio for past marketing jobs that I've had, and having read a lot of texts and done a lot of script analysis and done a lot of research and just things that were all part of the acting craft in general, and just other jobs that I had in marketing and whatnot, and just kind of pulled all of that together, and you kind of make it your own because everyone directs differently. Yeah.
No, if it were a job interview, I'd be like, so what would you say would be your greatest weakness? No, I'm just kidding. Don't answer that one. You don't have to. No problem. Anyways, going back
Insecurity!
to... Oh, no! No, going back to the acting, how did you become interested in acting?
I've been on stage ever since I can remember. My dad was a music evangelist, and so I grew up in church singing in choir and always seeing my daddy on stage, and so I always wanted to be up there with him and singing, and so I kind of got my way into it by singing. I did a ton of choir and theater in high school and stuff like that, and then when I went on to college, I got my degree in vocal performance in singing and in music. But I always loved theater and doing all of that too, but that's kind of where my background comes from, yeah.
So, do you prefer normal theater, like the dramatic theater, or musical theater?
I don't have a preference. For me, it's just the content of the show and the story that's being told. I can be taken in either way. I've done both. I've been in both types. I've seen all the different types, and I have appreciation for all of it, and I just fall in love with whatever the specific show is. There have been musicals I've hated, and there have been plays that I've loved, and vice versa. So it just kind of depends on the specific show itself.
Is there a specific musical or play that you really, really like that you'd like to let us know? You want to know? I'm just asking what your favorite one is.
Well, I am dying to see Hamilton. I know that's everyone wants to see that, but I am absolutely dying to see it, and I haven't seen it yet. So I love that one. I also really, really love Spring Awakening as a musical. As a play, there was a show that I got to do a few years back called The Nether, which was a really cool, futuristic, psychodrama kind of thing with twists and turns and things like that. I also really want to see Sleep No More, which is immersive theater where you're walking through different rooms and all these different cool things, which I also got to do some immersive theater a few years back when we did the stage version of Train Spotting. Where I got to work on my Scottish accent, which was fun too.
Well, that sounds quite interesting. The stage version of Train Spotting.
It actually started out as a stage play. It was a lot of people think it was the movie first, but it started out.
I thought it was the movie first.
Yeah, I know. That's through my research and getting to do that, I learned that, and I was like, oh, who knew? I didn't know. thought it was a movie, but it was actually the other way around. Yeah.
Oh, and the more you know. So, speaking about things you know, have you been here to Colorado before?
I have. I've been here twice before that I can remember. I came here, I was touring a show called Stuart Little with the Children's Theater about 6 or 7 years ago. I can't remember. But it was in the dead of winter, and it was -12, and it was not so fun. But then I got to come back like a year and a half ago for the Dragon Boat Festival, which is part of like a little mini kind of version of this whole big giant con. Yeah. And it was very beautiful then, and I loved it so much more. And of course, I always loved the mountains and the snow and all of that. It was just like, I'm a Texas girl, and I couldn't move my fingers in that -12 degree. It was too much for me.
It's just like, we had that whole bomb cyclone recently too, where it's just, oof.
Oh,
But,
man.
yeah, so what do you think so far of Colorado Anime Fest?
I love it. It's great. I've only been here like a day, but I'm having a great time.
That's good. Making sure to drink the water, right? Make sure to drink lots of water.
And everyone is so thank you. I'm grateful. Yeah, I'm trying to stay hydrated because I am a little sensitive to the altitude, and it does take me a little bit longer to acclimate. But I feel like it's finally getting in my body. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, once you've properly hydrated, Denver, Colorado is pretty good, and Colorado Anime Fest is this is their first time in a new hotel. It's been pretty good so far. So, what do you is there a specific thing so far this convention that you liked or that impressed you about like how the way it's run or anything?
I mean, everything's gone really smoothly and really beautifully, and I love all the guests they have brought together here and the cool panels they've set up and everything. Like, I think everything's gone off without a hitch.
So, any panels aside from any that you're working on that you want to go ahead and promote here real quick at this show? Because this may be up before the end of the show.
Oh, sure. I have a panel tonight on directing, and then I have another one tomorrow on a show that I was an ADR director for called Interview with Monster Girls. Several of the cast members, Bryn April, Terry Doty, and Austin Tyndall, who will also be there along with me. We'll chatting all about it, and then I'll have a Q&A as well, and some more autographs to sign.
Going back to anime, how did you start with your current job?
With voice acting?
Voice acting.
Yeah. I really wanted to get involved with Funimation because I knew it was in my hometown, Dallas, or in a suburb of Dallas called Flower Mound. And I found out about it, but it took a while to kind of get an audition. But once I got an audition, like I said, I come from a singing background, and the background included singing, so it was just kind of a little bit of a stroke of luck, or whatever you want to call it. And I was able to get cast in like something really, really small, and just like kind of any actor starts, just more auditions, you just keep getting chances, and it keeps kind of growing from there. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So you mentioned you did have a singing background with church and such. Is there like a favorite song or anything that
that's too hard.
Oh, that is too hard of a question.
That is hard. Okay, well, my favorite my go-to jukebox tune is Love Shack by the B-52s.
So kind of like that's your desert island record essentially, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's a good one. It always lifts my heart. Yeah.
So going back to you mentioned that you grew up in the church. Do you find sometimes that some of the programs you may work with may do you ever find like sometimes with the content that is in a lot of anime, does any of that ever strike you as like being kind of like a conflict of interest with a Christian background, or?
Not for me personally. I don't really even go to church anymore, and I kind of have a different relationship with the universe, the creator, and all of that. I mean, I believe in kindness and unconditional love above all, and like non-judgment, non-violence, and all of that.
So kind of a good energy, kind of a kind energy, which you find a lot of a really good energy at conventions such as Colorado Anime Fest. And,
there's a lot of acceptance.
Really good acceptance and energy around here. One thing I do notice though with that energy, and we see this quite a bit sometimes with anime fans, and with a lot of people, I guess you could say geek or nerd culture to begin with, is we do have these conventions where we feel that high of that energy. It's just kind of like you're just going a mile a minute here. Everything feels good. Everything is great. And then when the convention's over, that energy tends to like wane as they go into school and back to college or back to work. Do you have any tips on how we can take that positive energy, that kindness, that feeling from the anime convention and apply it to when we leave?
Well, I mean, I just think that's kind of the nature of the universe. Like, if everything was high, high, high all the time, like, we'd all be dead. So I think accepting the fact that it's going to be an ebb and flow of energy coming in and out of your existence and your life is one thing, and just kind of sometimes naming that and accepting that is enough to make your body just kind of relax into the moment. But, I mean, carry the friendships with you. Carry, if you bought anything cool, like, place it in your area of work that you can see every day to remind you about it. Reach out to people that you met online. That's what's cool about all the social media, is you can reach out to a friend that you made at a con. And of course, the anime is, you can watch that anytime. And that's one of my favorite things about meeting fans sometimes, when they tell me, I was in the hospital, I had a really hard time, and I watched this show, and it really lifted my heart. And I totally relate to that, because there have been, TV shows or programs or music that have, like, in a really low point in my life, like, really helped lift me back up.
Is there a particular book or a song or movie that's really...
You can't see me on this radio, but, like, I'm obsessed with Harry Potter, and I love Harry Potter, and I love all the soundtracks and, like, the movies, and, like, if I'm ever having a down day, I pop on a Harry Potter DVD. Yeah.
So are you a Gryffindor, Slytherin, or
I think I'm like half and half of Gryffindor and Slytherin.
Ravenclaw.
I think I'm like a Gryffindor at heart, but I have Slytherin tendencies, for sure.
I took the little Pottermore test. I'm Slytherin all the way, apparently.
All the way?
Yep.
That just means you're really ambitious.
Well, it is the best house. Yeah, absolutely, right?
Only a Slytherin would say that, right?
Yes, of course. Mm-hmm. So, you mentioned the social media. Where can people find you on social media?
Absolutely. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. On Instagram, I'm at Jaderade, and that's honestly, like, my favorite social media platform. I just love the way it's set up. I love doing stories. I love that it's, like, based on photography and imagery. I don't know why. It speaks to me. And then I'm also on Twitter at Jade B. Saxton, JADBSAXTON. My name looks like Jad, but it sounds like Jade. There's that. Hopefully that clears up some of that confusion.
It's got a little line over the A that makes it a long A.
It's called a macron. It's a macronized vowel.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I'm also on Facebook at Jade Saxton, voice actor. I think that's right, or voice actress. I don't know. I'm not honestly on Facebook very much, mostly on Twitter and Instagram.
Instagram's awesome. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, before we go, are there any particular projects that you're working on or that you worked on recently that you'd like to go ahead and promote?
I just wrapped up My Roommate is a Cat, which was one of my favorite shows. I got to play Haru, a cat. It was so, so sweet. I just wrapped up directing Indro, which was a really fun series, if you got a chance to check that out. What else did I act in this past season? Well, or that is continuing, as I'm in Fruits Basket, which I'm really, really excited about. It's so cool. So I hopefully get a chance to see that reboot of, like, a really, really popular series. And then, we are fresh on, like, a brand new season of stuff that I'm not quite able to talk about yet. So just stay tuned and check out those social medias, and
definitely
I'll be posting about those.
Yeah, the Instagram and the Twitter.
Yeah,
and,
very soon, like next week, I'll be posting about. I'll be able to, like, say what I'm directing. I'm directing 2 new shows next season. And then there's a really big announcement that I can't wait to announce about a new show that I not only directed but also acted in as well. It's a project that I've been working on for 6 months that I'm, like, dying.
Oh, yeah, it's just one of those things you're just like, I just want to say it, but I can't.
I know. I'm really excited. So stay tuned for that. I really think people will be excited because it's I can't say why, but they will be. I think they will be.
Well, excellent. Thank you for your time today.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And this has been Philip Wesley, the Mile High Mouth, over here at Colorado Anime Fest with
Jade Saxton.
Until next episode comes out, you are now caught up.
Morning, Maya.